What's up everybody, it's your boy Bryce, and today I'm going to show you one of my favorite ways to add contrast to my photos using a black and white adjustment layer in Photoshop. Let's get it.
I do this for a living, you still getting used to it. It's all or nothing for my music, don't abuse it, lose it.
Alright guys, so I need you guys to bear with me. I caught some kind of sinus infection and I'm getting cleared up out of right now. It's a little hard for me to talk, but I really want to get this tutorial out for you guys, so here we go. Probably the most common way to add contrast in Photoshop is using the curves adjustment layer. But actually one of my favorite ways to add contrast is to use the black and white adjustment layer. So in this video, I'm going to show you the differences between the curves adjustment layer and the black and white adjustment layer. That way you have options when needing to add contrast to your photos. Alright, let's start with the curves. Curves are great for overall contrast. It's fast and easy, but it's harder to pinpoint control over it, and it kind of messes with the overall saturation of your photo. Sometimes you don't want to do that, especially if you have people in your photos. The black and white adjustment layer is also great for overall contrast. It's also fast and easy to use, but you also have greater control over color ranges that you can add contrast to. Alright, let's get set up. Alright, first of all, we're going to add in a curves adjustment layer. So we're going to come down here to our layers panel, go down to the half circle, and we're going to come up to curves. Alright, typical curve is an S curve, so we're going to make a point right here, point down here in this lower left corner. We're going to bring the shadows down a bit. We're going to bring the highlights up a bit. And boom, there we go. Instant contrast, yes. All right, we're gonna turn that off for a second. Next, we're gonna come back down to the half circle and we're gonna add in black and white. Now, in order to turn this back into color, all we need to do is come up here to our layer blend modes and change it to soft light. Boom, instant contrast. Hashtag instant contrast. Alright, I'm going to set this up a little bit just so we can switch between the two a lot easier. Alright, now that I've got that set up a little bit easier, I just put them in groups with their own background so that we can switch back and forth between them easier. Alright, let's start with the curves. So the curves, you really don't have too much control over individual colors or areas. You pretty much can mess with the highlights or the shadows. Now you can come up here and change your RGB if you want to, but that's going to add a tint to your photo, and you don't really want to do that. You just want to add the contrast. The black and white adjustment layer does a lot more. So now you've got sliders. One of the first things that you're really going to want to do is you're going to come to your opacity slider and you're going to bump it down. So for this demonstration, I'm going to put it up to about 50% just so you can see what happens when I move these sliders a lot better. So when I come up here to this red slider and I move it up, you can see those red beads get a lot lighter. If I were to come down here to maybe cyan and pull it to the left, we just made those blue beads a lot darker. But notice we have not touched the saturation of this photo. Easy peasy, right? So let's reset that black and white adjustment tool. Alright, now let's talk about the point sample tool that's within here. So this little doohickey right here, when you click it, gives you an eyedropper, and if you click and hold over a color, you can drag left and right, and Photoshop will figure out what color you've sampled from and move the correct slider. So see, we picked that blue and was actually cyan. Here's a tip for using this tool. Make sure that by default, I believe you are on point sample up here on your sample size. You want to bring that to at least 11 by 11 depending on the size of your photo. This is a pretty big photo that I'm working with, and you want to do 11 by 11 instead of point because you don't want it to sample one pixel. You want it to sample a group of pixels. That way you get a broader range that you're able to change. Another feature of this adjustment layer is presets. So now you can come up here, you can drop this blue filter on there and it'll darken all your blues, and then you can come to your opacity slider and actually move it. And now you're way faster. You don't even have to use your sliders. So if you find something in this list that you really like, then you can always go to that and you can be very consistent with your edits. You can also do a custom one. So if you're working on a set of photos and you get it the way that you really love it, you can create a custom one and just add it to all of those photos in one swoop. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Now you are officially armed with another option for adding contrast to your photos in Photoshop. And you can see that the black and white adjustment layer gives you greater control over your contrast by letting you add it to specific color ranges as opposed to the entire photo. Make sure you hit that thumbs up if you like this video, and if you're not already, subscribe to my channel. Knock that notification bell so you know every time I drop more sauce. And leave me a comment down below. If you have a favorite way to add contrast, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Until the next time, guys, you know what you got to do for them $4. You got to holla. Peace.